I awaken. I don't know it at this moment, but this day marks my fourth straight year of existing in the dogscape. I push myself up from the carpet of withering, twitching dog flesh beneath me and rise to my feet, stretching in the morning sun. It took me a while to learn to balance on the layer of solid dogs that now blankets every inch of the solid ground. But nowadays, I can walk and run as easily and as fast as I ever did on soil or concrete, perhaps even faster. This was a city once, I think, though which one I can't remember. I only owe my guess to the massive pillars of dogs jutting into the sky, perhaps ancient buildings now completely filled and overgrown by canine biomatter. I climbed one once, sinking my fingers and toes deep into the dog wall to gain purchase, and after hours and hours of climbing was rewarded with an incredible vista. Fur and eyes, panting tongues and wagging tails, hugging the contours of those once barren lands and stretching in a single amoebic mass further than any eye can see. Now, I don't do that though. Now I merely go on about my day. I hike to the gardens where the dog plants sprout up in bizarre shapes from the floors of the dogscape and reach up to pluck fetal puppy fruits right off the wagging, energetic branches. I bite into the succulent flesh, the juices dribbling down my chin and dripping down to be absorbed by the ground flesh, and revel in the savory taste. I'm thirsty, so I range until I find one of the mother mounds, and there I suckle at a teat patch until I've had my fill of milk. Sometimes I see other humans around me, as well adapted to the dogscape as I am, but I've barely acknowledged them. Say nothing. What, after all, is there to say? The world is different now. What meaning would our old words have? Free-ranging dogs are becoming rarer and rarer to see now, and those that I do see seem lost and passive as I am. They too graze on the dog plants. Step carefully over the undulting, bleeding dog floor, dimly acknowledge myself and one another. In the distant sky and far horizon, I sometimes see a massive forms of sail or crawl or undulate, and I wonder if this new world, normal, singular, ambulatory dogs have become as obsolete as I am. I dug down once, down beneath the dogs, beneath the hair and the ears and the barking. It was hard and took a lot of planning. I had to destroy one of those dog trees with my hands, rip out the twisted yards long communal spines that severed them as branches and lash them together with tendons and skin. But soon I had tools, pitchforks, spears, shovels. I picked a spot where the dog floor seemed shallow and set to work. The blood started spurting when my spear first broke the surface and didn't stop for hours and hours and hours. I was drenched in gore and vice versa, covered in flecks of bone and meat and brain. But I learned to ignore the sickening, squelching sounds, ward off the smell, and just kept going deeper and deeper, spearing and levering out dogs of stranger and stranger size and builds. Dogs with two heads, dogs with human hands, dogs with writhing tentacles where their back legs should be. Eventually I came to the end of the dogs, or perhaps the beginning of whatever lies beyond the dogs. An expanse of multicolored patchwork fur that extended as far as I could dig in any direction. I could pierce it with a great difficulty, but it barely bled. And try as I might, I could only barely peel the skin away, revealing a layer of syringed grayish muscle beneath. It started to tremble as I watched it, shaking in the very dog matter around me, and I realized that the dogscape was beginning to regenerate itself, close in over me, seal me in. So I fled, climbing back up into the light.